My mother always said,
No?
if you're gonna do something, you gotta do it yourself if you want it done right. So here I am, hoarse voice and all. I've had laryngitis. I've got strep throat. I'm on the antibiotics, but I'm back to have a good time with you, Amy.
Yay, I'm so glad you're back in tonight. So we're having ladies' night tonight, right?
That's always the best nights.
It is always the best night. We are going to have fun. We're going to pause that until later in the show. However, we do have some pretty serious news to get to here off the top. We're going to start off tonight with some developing news. One person dead, 4 others injured in a shooting at an industrial park in Bryan, Texas. A person was taken into custody. However, police cannot confirm they were tied to the shooting. They believe the suspect was an employee of a business in that industrial park.
Now, this news comes hours after President Joe Biden took executive actions on gun control, calling out Congress for not making bigger strides in the past.
They've offered plenty of thoughts and prayers, members of Congress, but they passed not a single new federal law to reduce gun violence. My job, the job of any president, is to protect the American people. Whether Congress acts or not, I'm going to use all the resources at my disposal as president to keep the American people safe from gun violence. But there's much more that Congress can do to help that effort.
So the president's executive action includes tightening restrictions on stabilizing braces in untraceable weapons known as ghost guns. He is also ordering an increase in federal support to community violence intervention programs and for the DOJ to offer a model for red flag legislation, which allows courts to ban people from accessing firearms if there are worries they could hurt themselves or others. We actually spoke to U.S. Rep. Jan Schakowsky earlier on the president's efforts.
I'm hoping that we can go national. That's what it really takes. And that's what is going to help us. When there are national gun safety rules, then we can have hope that in Chicago too, we're going to see a decrease in the homicides and in the suicides by gun.
Okay, I gotta say, we meet time and time again to have this conversation on television, Amy, but this does feel a little bit different in the sense that to me, it seems that we could be closer to legislation or an executive, or obviously there's executive orders, but getting something done, some sort of action.
Yeah, I do like the fact that they are kind of pinpointing on these ghost guns where they could buy parts to build their own guns. Because let's face it, a lot of the problems that we have in this country related to weapons, they're not legally owned firearms. They're illegally owned firearms. So it's cracking down, I think, on that part. And I don't know what to that extent that answer is. Obviously, they don't either, or we would have less of a problem. But we got to stop the flow of guns, especially through the city of Chicago. I mean, you're talking about a city that just deals with, I mean, it's off the charts. You hear about these shootings in other places, and it's nothing with what the city deals with on a daily basis.
Yeah, and I have to say, just as a Chicago resident, no, I'm not an expert and I do not have proof of this, but history has shown me that somebody knows where these guns are coming from. Somebody knows what's going on in our city. And I know that I can't say that and confirm that, but it's out of hand. It is absolutely out of hand. And I mean, I personally just like to see some action. I actually support the Second Amendment. I know that was something that the Obama administration pushed hard for. I will say, I think the difference between Obama and the Biden administration, I think the messaging, the central messaging to getting something passed and getting something through, I think that's going to be different. Because all you heard on the conservative side when Obama was trying to get gun legislation passed was he's trying to steal our guns. They need to do exactly what they did to create centralized messaging like they did for the Affordable Care Act. I believe that's how they got that through Congress. They need to get that centralized messaging as well for gun control so that it's clear. People understand that, because Obama was never trying to repeal the Second Amendment completely. He was never trying to take guns away completely. So my point being, if they can get the centralized messaging down and get some negotiation between the right and the left, that there is a possibility something can be done. If I'm one of these family members, I want to see some sort of action that's reasonable for both sides.
Here's my question though. Okay, we don't know a lot about this Texas shooting. It's a still developing story. So when the dust settles and we find out the guns are legally owned, what's the answer to that problem?
I don't have all the answers, Amy, but I will say I think that we're on the right path in terms of trying to find ways to regulate what's happening. So a centralized background check. We know that the last mass shooting, I can't even remember the location of it. The last mass, Colorado, the mass shooting, the person, the suspect, he ended up obtaining that gun legally. So if there was some sort of federal background check in terms of, or process in terms of how we're able to get guns, I think that would make a huge difference. We're doing this, every state is different. And I think the system is just too foggy and not clear enough for everyone. I think that could make a difference. That's just one thing on the table, Amy.
Which is what Schakowsky said. She said it has to be federal. All right, not something we're going to solve this evening, so we are going to move on. George Floyd's health and drug use were the crux of testimony today in day 9 of the trial for former Minneapolis cop Derek Chauvin. One of the final witnesses today, Dr. Martin Tobin, is a critical care doctor here in Chicago and testified Floyd died from a lack of oxygen and not drugs.
Yes, a healthy person subjected to what Mr. Floyd was subjected to would have died as a result of what he was subjected to.
Prosecutors also hope to debunk the defense argument George Floyd died of a drug overdose. A forensic toxicologist testified people found driving with fentanyl in their systems commonly have higher levels of the drug in their systems than George Floyd actually did.
Because one of the things in this case is the question of fentanyl. And if fentanyl is having an effect and is causing depression of the respiratory centers, the centers that control breathing, that's going to result in a decrease in the respiratory rate. And it's shown that with fentanyl, you expect a 40% reduction in the respiratory rate. So with fentanyl, his respiratory rate should be down at around 10. Instead of that, it's right in the middle of normal at 22.
Medical expert went on to testify officers should have given emergency CPR the moment they could no longer feel a pulse on George Floyd.
This guy is not only a pulmonary expert, he is also an expert witness in the sense that he was able to break this down so that we could understand it. There were some times in which he spoke and it sounded a little professorial. However, he broke this down so everyone could understand. I mean, just some of the things that stood out to me when he said, you can see their eyes, and then you can see that he's conscious and then he's not. And that's the moment that life goes out of his body. He broke this down exactly how the prosecutors needed this to be broken down so that we are very clear this was the cause of death.
Yeah, and he could actually see that by watching body cam video from the police officers by the chest rising and falling and looking at the respiratory rate. It was interesting today, a lot of the day today focused on drugs, his past drug use and the drugs that were found in George Floyd's car. And this was the prosecution trying to really get rid of that argument that George Floyd had overdosed that evening or drugs played a role in his death and that his respiratory rate fell so quickly because of drugs in his system. So this is where the experts came in and said, no, the respiratory rate he had at this time was fairly normal at that point. So they do not believe that drugs played a role in his death. However, bringing up the issue of drugs, is that going to be enough for the jury to question, was this all the officer's fault?
Yeah, I gotta say though, and I know that this is due process and things are going out as they should. It's extremely technical how we're going through this case with a fine tooth comb so they can present to the jury so the jury can make a decision without a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt. However, as a Black American, when I'm watching this, and I guess this is why I'm not a defense attorney, Amy, because I would have said, here's the video. 9 minutes, 50 seconds. Here's the video. I rest.
Well,
that's how the rest of us are watching it. We don't care because we saw this happen on video. We saw this happen on video, and I can't legally say murder, but I'm going to say murder on this show because that's what it was. We saw this happen on video, and now we have to have a 4-week trial because America.
And in some ways, it's great, right? Because it has to be with the shadow of a doubt, right?
That's
and in
democracy.
Another case, when another case where it's less clear, you're thankful for this process. Now, in this case, for most of us sitting at home, it seems pretty clear, and we hope that the jury finds the same way a lot of us feel. We will obviously
You're
see in the
right.
days ahead.
It's democracy. That's how it should go. But I do want to share just how I'm watching this at home. Like,
Yeah, I
this
get
is
it.
unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Absolutely.
Okay. This is also something that caught us off guard, you guys. A true crime app is apologizing after sending out a press release to promote its new AR experience of George Floyd's death. Well, a journalist tweeted out this email from Crime Door. The app sells AR creations of infamous murders for $2 each. The email announced that the George Floyd experience would launch free for anyone. Now, the app also has AR crime scenes for John Lennon, the Menendez parents, Nicole Brown Simpson, John Benet Ramsey. Crime Door now says that the George Floyd experience was an early stage idea that was not supposed to be released to the public. Do you buy that, Amy? Not supposed to be released?
I do buy that was accidentally sent out. I think someone slipped up in the PR department and that slipped out. I am just slightly mortified that this even exists. And I get it. There are a lot of true crime folks out there that this is really fascinating to me or to them. And to me, it just seems so morbid that I just can't wrap my head around it.
Yeah, I mean, well, John, our co-host, who's off today, or not, wherever he is at, wherever he's at, he's not here.
Right.
He loves true crime, and well, you do too, Amy, right?
I do, but I don't like this.
But this is too far, right?
Yeah, it is. There's certain things that people just don't need to see.
Yeah, this is certainly just again, these people, whoever created this, was not thinking of the family. Like, there's a case,
Right.
there's a part of you that can be interested and curious, and then there's another side that goes too far. It goes way too far, and I feel like this crosses the line. And again, just always thinking of the families in these instances.
Yeah, so that goes too dark. Let's bring in a little light here with Miss Christy Green. Hey, KG.
Hey, yeah, I'm shook by that story. And I was shook today because we had some social media outages, but that always makes for some good memes. So coming up in the digital report, the best reactions to Facebook and IG being down, plus Khloe Kardashian's bikini clapback and the convo we really need to be having about pressures to look perfect. We'll break it down. We'll be right back.
All right, news you need to know. A stay-at-home order issued for the University of Chicago after at least 50 undergrads tested positive for COVID-19 yesterday. It is the largest cluster to hit the student body this year. Police in South Carolina are investigating why former NFL player Philip Adams shot 5 people before killing himself at a home in South Carolina. Police say the victims include a prominent doctor, his wife, and their grandchildren. And Florida is suing the CDC, demanding cruise ships be allowed to set sail immediately. Governor Ron DeSantis calls the decision to delay the reopening of ports irrational. Reminder, though, he's also against vaccine passports. Taking a look at your forecast out there today. Kind of wet out there today. Will be also tomorrow and Saturday. Spotty showers, however, on Sunday. This forecast brought to you by United Auto Insurance. Call or click today for your free quote.
Let's talk some digital news. So today, for a very long 2 hours, Facebook and Instagram were down. They're owned by Facebook, same company. Same story every time. We never know why, but everyone always turns to Twitter because we have nothing else to scroll through. So obviously, there's always some good memes. So let's take a look at some of the best. This first one, y'all, Instagram and Facebook broke, or did somebody report me? Felicia, that's for you.
Yes,
that
it is.
For you. Yeah. And here's the next one. Y'all, Instagram really got me. I spent 20 minutes switching from Wi-Fi to data. I do this every time. I think the issue is me and my internet. And I'm like, is my Wi-Fi out? Is the data got like what's wrong here? No. That's why we go to Twitter so we can see that Facebook and Instagram down is trending, and it confirms that.
We need the sirens that go off. Like, you know how we have tornado sirens? We need separate sirens that go off for when the internet is down or when Instagram or Facebook is down, because this is not okay.
Not the first Tuesday of the month. Exactly. And child, is y'all Instagram down? I'm thinking I got banned again. You're not banned. You're not banned. It's just something's wrong with these apps. And they got to figure it out. And finally, I hate when y'all Instagram be down. Then y'all come to Twitter with your opinions. That's what everybody does. Everybody just goes to Twitter because there is nothing else except TikTok. But you know, that's a whole. I won't get into that platform. Although it's a good one. Okay, and
also,
quick FYI for Verizon users, the company is recalling 2.5 million hotspots that could overheat and cause burns or fire. Yeesh. So the numbers are on our Instagram story. If you want to check your models, you can look at that right now at the Jam TV show on IG. And this will make Amy and B Pope happy. Sony struck a massive movie output deal with Netflix. So the new deal will see Sony's theatrical films from Columbia, Sony, Screen Gems, TriStar Pictures Studios, all heading to Netflix instead of Stars in 2022.
Wow.
So that means the future sequels to Venom, Jumanji, Bad Boys and Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse will all hit Netflix after their theatrical releases. And I know we say Amy and B Pope are excited about this, but hey, me and Felicia are too. Felicia's a big movie gal. I just got into Marvel this year thanks to the Q, so I love it. Thank you, Netflix.
I love it.
That
I do watch
so
a great deal of Netflix. Yes. Yeah,
that is so huge. Well, I'm a movie person, so I don't really so much like the series. I like movies. I need 2-3 hours so I could get it done and have it over with. But you know, not everybody's going to go back to the movie theater. I personally would like to go back to the movie theater, but they said after the theater releases, so it still serves its purpose. Netflix, they are really coming in killing the game.
I'm telling you guys, though, so now that we've already gotten through the whole season of WandaVision, so if you didn't start, you should pick it up now. You will enjoy it. And then Winter Soldier, don't get me started.
Okay, I'm probably not going to watch that, Amy.
No, you really should. I'm serious. Really if I liked it, I think you can too.
Yes.
Okay.
Like,
well,
fine.
Okay.
I will get them to watch it. We're going to take a break right now. I'll be right back.
Oh boy, blindside the jam. My mom's watching too. She's here. So I can't
Oh.
ignore the phone calls. I have to answer depending on what these questions are.
Uh-oh, here it
I know.
comes.
It makes me
Okay.
nervous every time.
Oh, 30
Oh,
seconds, say whatever you
no.
want. Go, Felicia.
Felicia.
Oh.
Oh, there goes
Now
15.
she can't speak.
Krista Green.
My soapbox moment. Oh my gosh. I don't know, guys. I got nothing.
Yeah,
Really?
I will say
That's why you
I
can't
love
blindside us.
I love you guys. I love This Is a Ladies' Night. I love the jam, and I love everybody that works with the jam. And this is our moment, guys. Ew.
Wait, do I get my 30 seconds really quickly?
Oh, go.
Yeah?
Okay, go.
Here, okay. People, COVID is not over with yet. Even if you've been vaccinated and you're out in public, you still need to wear masks because they don't know whether or not you can spread the disease. We have a lot of surging going on in different spaces, and so you have to remember other people. I know you are sick and tired of being home and wearing a mask. A little bit longer. Come on, people, hold on a little bit longer. We're going to get there.
Okay.
The tunnel, the light, we can see it. Yay. Okay.
Snaps for
Yes.
Amy in this PSA, this very much so needed PSA. Also, since we're here, use your turn signals, people.
Well, that too.
Yes.
But that goes
please
the same
do.
every day of every year.
Since we're here. Okay. All right. Let's wrap
That
this
was great.
before we get into
Yeah.
a rabbit hole.
She didn't talk about taxes. Let's just keep moving on.
I was going to start talking about puff beans, but we'll save it.
No. We're okay. Let's wrap.
All right, guys, we got to talk about this. This was buzzing all week. The Kardashian team worked very hard this week to scrub a photo that leaked of Khloe Kardashian. It was unfiltered, unphotoshopped, and bad lighting. I think she looks beautiful, but we are finally hearing from Khloe. She's speaking out. She went on Instagram Live to prove that all the Photoshop photos that people claim are not real, they are, because this is her body, and she wrote this very lengthy message to Instagram about how she just struggles with her body image, and she works hard for the body she has, and she's dealing with her own struggles. So it's been a lot of talk about just body image this week and where body positivity is and how the Kardashians could be using their platform to make it a little bit better, especially when we're living in this Instagram filtered world. I mean, personally,
she looks amazing.
She looks amazing.
That does
and
look
I think
good.
she looked amazing in the unfiltered photo. And that's why I'm really struggling with this, because half of me is like, okay, you worked really hard for your body. I hear you. That's not a great photo. We like to put our best foot forward on social. So I get it if you want to take it down. But at the same time, she could have taken this moment to say, hey, that wasn't the greatest photo of me, but that's okay. Like, you don't have to look perfect 24/7. So
yeah, she made it about
spread
her.
a really good message.
She made it about her when it could have been about other people who are struggling with the same thing. And, somebody might say, well, she doesn't have to do that. That's her Instagram and her picture and
It
yada, yada,
is.
yada. I get it. But when you have this platform that they love to yield, and this is something that, they have flexed their power for, you have a platform. So there's no way around it. So yes, this was an opportunity. I'm glad that she was open about her struggles with body image. I hope that it creates that conversation and makes it normal for many other people who are struggling.
I actually thought it was refreshing to see too, because they are so perfect all the time. They don't seem normal. Everything, people call them plastic and fake. Like, this was like a real picture. And so she's got a few divots in her skin. She still looks phenomenal. I would kill for her body. She looked great. But yeah, the lighting wasn't great. The angle wasn't great. I get it. Totally get it. And I wouldn't want it up there either as a woman, because I have the same struggles,
But see,
it's
that's
hard
my
to judge
issue.
what you want or don't want.
Right.
Yeah, that's my issues though with the Kardashians and people like them. They always put out this perfect image that a lot of times has been altered in some kind of way, Photoshop, whatever. And so that it filters. Oh my goodness, you cannot believe anything you see on social media today.
Nope.
Right.
And I just feel for the young girls, which is where parents have to step in. Nobody is who they are. Like, we're all posing differently and sucking in, and everyone's doing something different.
I have three teenage nieces. I'm sorry, 2 teenage, 1 tween niece, and then 2 adult nieces. And I'm like, growing up in all this, I don't know how they made it, and they seem relatively good. And I'm like, whew, good for you guys for being great parents and
rich. These people are rich. They have a lot of money and they've had a lot of work done. Do not compare yourself.
And by the way, she looks beautiful. She should just be take joy in that. Yeah.
Do not compare yourself. That's the message.
Okay, everybody, let's do this. Here we are at 6:30 already. My goodness. Just a really quick baseball
Friday
update.
all day today. I just have to say this. I thought it was Friday all day today.
I hate when it goes that way. When you mistakenly think we're further along into the week than we are.
I'm reading stuff. I'm like, oh, this is old. It's from Thursday, but today's Friday, so it's not. It's Thursday.
Yeah, welcome to the longest week ever. Thank you, Amy, for reiterating that. But now let's get to some of these baseball updates because we have been able to celebrate that with, the Sox just having their home opener. But quick first, let me tell you, the Cubs beat Pittsburgh Pirates 4-2. So we are sure that John is somewhere celebrating. And there was a slight rain delay with the White Sox. They are winning. The game's currently going on right now. They're winning 4-0 against the Kansas City Royals. So I don't know a ton about baseball, but that's a big game with the Royals.
Hey, if you got plans to catch a game at Guaranteed Rate or the Friendly Confines, a Chicago woman's invention is helping make taking your tiny ones along much easier.
I am a mom of 2 kids, 2 toddlers. My son Cooper is 3.5, and my daughter Claire is 1.5. And when Cooper was a baby, I had a particularly difficult diaper change while out to lunch at a fast casual burger restaurant here in the Midwest. And it was made particularly difficult or inconvenient because there was not a changing table in the men's room, which we often see far too often, right? And that's something that right away sort of sparked my interest to why is that still the case? And so I went into the restroom, had a difficult diaper change. I got back to the table and I literally said out loud, I think we could make a better one. And so that began what is now Pluie.
Yeah, so explain to us exactly what Pluie is.
Sure. So Pluie, our celebratory feature is that it does have a UVC light system. And so Pluie sanitizes after every cycle. You change diaper, close the table, and the UVC light turns on, and within a minute, it's clean. And that's a really exciting feature to have because parents know walking in that the table's clean after every use, no matter what. But in addition to that, a lot of things we struggle with when we're out in public with kids is that it's just not very convenient. And so what we wanted to do was create a table that had features that were more comfortable and more convenient for diaper changes. And so the cushion we have is this plush foam space to put your baby in. I always found it so weird and that you put your baby on this kind of rock hard surface.
Right.
So we wanted it comfortable. It's a bigger surface space. You can put your wipes and your phone, whatever you need. Our safety belt retracts back into the system. So oftentimes you see them hanging out. It's something you don't want to touch. You kind of
never use it.
No one uses it, right? So it has to be there for safety, but ours retracts back in. So if you don't want to use it, it's not there and it's not just hanging out. And then the handles on the side are these perfect multi-purpose handles in that you can open and close it easier. You know how it is, juggling all your stuff, and then hang your backpack, diaper bags, and things right on them.
Amazing. Sox Park, so Guaranteed Rate Field, you guys had one installed right before opening day.
Yes, it was one of the best cold calls I've ever received. I've been answering unknown phone calls, hoping for exciting things to happen, and it was truly a very exciting moment. Their senior director of purchasing called and said, "Hey, we want a table." And what I've seen there being now at the stadium for the past couple of weeks to install it is just all of the work going in to open the stadium safely. And we just feel so proud to be part of that plan. It's so cool what they've done to create this nursing room. Seeing these family restrooms and spaces for moms and dads to go, it really speaks to their values and how much they care about welcoming people back.
Are you guys going to be spreading across the Midwest, across the country? I mean, what's kind of the big plan?
We launched here locally in Chicago, and then we began shipping nationwide over the past couple of weeks. Of course, our grand plan is and truly believe that Pluie does belong in every restroom nationwide. So this really should be the future of changing tables.
And I'm assuming in men's and women's restrooms.
Yes, of course. That's very important to us and very exciting. I think this is now the time really that, we can continue to speak to that need and make sure that changing tables are everywhere and in every restroom nationwide.
And to learn more about Pluie, check out HelloPluie.com and Hello Pluie on social media. I cannot tell you guys, unless you've been there, changing tables in bathrooms, especially around a road trip, are the grossest things ever. And I would always like, nope. I would open the trunk of the minivan and put the baby in the back of the minivan, take out all the luggage to change them because I ain't taking them into the changing table. That's disgusting.
I would never. My mom always did it in the car too. So, and I love that you brought up that men should have it in their restroom too.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times Todd's had to take one of the kids. I got a lot of them.
Well, yeah.
If there's one thing I'm thankful for with this pandemic is that everyone is more germ conscious. I was always a germaphobe. I always washed my hands. I was really careful with surfaces and whatnot. And now I'm not like the weirdo that everyone's looking at on an airplane or whatnot. So
As
Sam.
Amy has been
Oh,
saying for an entire year that we should have been doing this all along.
thank you,
Yup.
Felicia.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Got your soapbox ready, girl. Got it ready. You
Go.
just step on it.
Hey, Mom, I really wish you would have told me you were coming. I'm pretty swamped at work.
So, the two of you cohabiting is a recent development. Jasmine scented fabric softener, not really your vibe, Mickey. Suits you.
She has good taste.
Ooh, Chicago native Alex Meneses is setting the CW on fire alongside star Jared Padalecki in Walker. And she joins us now to talk about what it's like working on the new hit series. Hi, Alex, and we are Chicago repping with you tonight.
Yes.
Hi. Hi, ladies.
So
How you
good to have
doing?
you.
How are you?
We are
So
so
tell
good and
us-
so much better now. We love that
Yeah.
you are from Chicago and repping in this
Woo!
show. Tell us tell us a little bit about how it was working through this show, you know, throughout a pandemic and also alongside Jared.
Wow, I had no idea how popular Jared was until I got on the show. There are just diehard fans for him and for Lindsay also. Lindsay Morgan, who plays my daughter, Mickey. He has such a great following, but he's a great guy. He's a great actor, and he is a very nice person. He's a great dad. He's a great producer. He is one of the executive producers on the show, which is wonderful, because I really believe that who's ever at the top of the show really sets the tone for the whole show. You know, if somebody is a pickle, then, you know, the show's like, you're like, oh my gosh, I have to go to work today, you know? So Jared is a great guy, and working through a pandemic. Yeah, it's been interesting. It's pretty strict. I had to get COVID tested every day. Everyone did. Everyone got tested every single day. We had to keep our distance. We couldn't congregate. We couldn't hang out as actors hang out and get crazy. It's we're always very isolated. But it works, you know, and they are a wonderful crew. It's a wonderful set to be on. I'm very lucky. And it shoots in Austin, Texas, and I love Austin. I mean, Chicago's number one, but
Chicago's number one. You got it right, because
Yeah.
that's where I was going with my questions. You represent so hard for the city, and I think it's just a beautiful thing to see. It's also great because you're so stunning yourself. So, you know, you're the perfect face for our city. You're the perfect face for it.
Look who's talking, ladies.
Yes, I love it. So, but you've been in so many things when we're talking about Selena and Everybody Loves Raymond. I am curious from your perspective, because you've had this incredible career. How can we advance and nourish just the art scenes in Chicago? Because it frustrates me that people skip over Chicago. They go from New York to LA to Atlanta and skip the art scene in Chicago.
You know what? I think the biggest marketing tool today is social media. I think our galleries have to get a social media marketing team. Each one has to have that. It's just it's all about that. That's where the younger generation is looking for their information, looking for their news, looking for events happening about town and in the world. I know it's frustrating, and you know, Chicago, I think it still is, but it really used to be back in the prehistoric days when I was hanging out in the 80s and 90s. It was known as a theater town. I mean, it was like a real theater town. Like Steppenwolf and Goodman and Victory Gardens, and I'm hoping it's still like that. But
Yeah.
I would say social media, heavy social media.
Yeah. Chris is all excited now. I gotta ask you, we only have a couple seconds left, but I have to ask you. So I grew up watching Walker, Texas Ranger. So when I heard that this reboot was coming out, I was like, I don't know if this generation's ready for Walker. Are you surprised at the excitement in this series?
Well, I'm not. I mean, it's a different Walker. You know, it's definitely controversial because of Texas Rangers were the police in Texas, but they did not belong to a municipality. How do you say it? Municipality? They didn't belong to a city or municipality. Okay. they were out on their own. So there was a lot of racism. There's a lot of unfair happenings that happened with Texas Rangers. So the fact that Mickey, who plays my daughter, is Mexican and she's a Texas Ranger, I think is really bringing this fresh take on the next generation. And also anything that Jared's in, people are going to watch it because everybody loves him.
Well, and you as well, I think. You as well, for sure. Alex, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, ladies.
Yeah, and thank you, Alex. And you can keep up with Alex's project on social media, and be sure to watch her in Walker. A new episode airs tonight at 7 p.m. on CW 26.
All right, giving the gift of life. After the break, we talked to Illinois Secretary of State Jesse White about his personal connection behind organ donation.
And I will have the deets on Kanye West's new project that is 2 decades in the making. Yeah, 2 decades. Okay, we'll be right back after this. Okay. And I wait during the animation? Okay.
Oh yeah, look at that. Weekend is quickly approaching. It's going to be a bit of a wet one, but not super cold. So that's the good news. We bounce back into some drier weather to start the week next week, but it drops in temperatures. United Auto Insurance is sponsoring this weather. Get your free quote, call, or click today. As we celebrate the start of White Sox baseball, we also remember the passing of Ed Farmer, former Sox and radio legend who died last year. Secretary of State Jesse White joins us with a look at how Farmer and a new organ donation campaign is saving lives. Thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, Amy, good to be on board, and thank you very much for allowing me to share with your audience this wonderful program that we've embarked upon.
Yeah, give us the details. What is the new program?
Well, the Organ Tissue Donor Program, of which Ed Farmer, announcer for the Chicago White Sox, got behind our effort to ask individuals here in the state of Illinois that when you're alive and well, give blood, you're no longer here to give organs, and if you've done those 2 things, we've made a positive impact on society, considering the fact that one person can provide life or improve the quality of life for 25 individuals. You may not have a need today, you may not have a need tomorrow, but sometime during your lifetime, you or someone that you may know will have a need for an organ. You want to make sure that those organs will be made available to you.
Has the program gotten larger over the years? It seems like more people are getting more comfortable with the thought of organ donation.
We're increasing tremendously. Matter of fact, we have 7.1 million individuals who have become a part of the organ tissue donor program. And we have a commercial out featuring a fellow by the name of Ed Farmer. You spoke about him a few moments ago. And he was not feeling well, was in dire need of a kidney. And his brother donated one of his kidneys to his brother. And as it turned out, Ed Farmer got an opportunity to live an additional 30 years. My story is similar to that, where my sister was in dire need of a kidney. There was not a match within the family. So she put her name on the organ tissue donor list, and through the generosity of someone, she was able to live an additional 28 years. So we believe that every person within the sound of my voice, or every person in the state of Illinois, should get behind this wonderful program to give others a second chance at life.
Yeah, it is a wonderful program. My best friend was able to donate part of her liver to her father, saved her father's life. I mean, it's just amazing the things that they can do with just such a gift that you really aren't going to need anymore.
You're absolutely correct. I'd like to share with you what happened not long ago. We used to be able to sign up individuals from 18 on up. And then we decided to introduce a piece of legislation in the Illinois Journal Assembly that would allow 16 and 17-year-olds, when they got their driver's license or their state ID, to participate in this program. And I'm proud to say that 165,000 of these wonderful young people are now a part of the organ tissue donor list. So even the young people believe in what we're trying to do. And I just hope that every person in the state of Illinois will consider becoming a part of this wonderful program.
Well, it is fantastic for everything you do. Secretary of State Jesse White, thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, we hope more people jump on board as well.
Well, I just hope that they would go to our website, lifegoeson.com, and sign up to become a part of the organ tissue donor program. We want to put them in a posture by which they can participate in this wonderful program if they so desire. It's the right thing to do. It's a good program, and we should do all we can to give others a second chance at life.
Sign me up. Thanks, Amy. So, for many women of color, the sense of community can be a lifesaver. Sarah Taylor created Yo Soy Ella to empower women of color to unlock their true potential. She's tonight's Real Chicagoan.
My name is Sarah Taylor. I am the founder and executive director of Yo Soy Ella. I'm a native of Chicago, born and raised on the South Side. Roseland, what's up? So Yo Soy is a beautiful community of women to feel connected, to feel a sense of belonging, and to be able to usher their own personal needs, their own personal challenges through this thing called life. It's important to be vocal when it comes to challenges regarding, particularly to domestic violence, because of my background. I'm Afro-Latina, and in our culture, these kind of things don't get spoken of. We keep stuff inside the home. We're going to protect the family name, protect the culture in a sense. When you see a woman like myself or any other woman vocalize the challenges and the concerns that's happening within the home, such as domestic violence or any type of trauma, it's frowned upon. But when that woman steps out of that cultural expectation, let's say, she makes room for many, many other women to actually vocalize their needs, vocalize like, I need help, vocalize, this is what's happening in my life. And that sets the tone for the kind of services that other people can try to create for women like myself. If we don't vocalize what's happening in our household, and how would other people recognize the need and create a need for us or a space for us to heal? It's very important to protect women of color, and particularly in the time that we're in now. Historically, women of color have always been overlooked when it comes to being a human, being an individual. We're always considered like the second-class citizen, let's just say. The importance of protecting us comes with just protecting the generational traumas that can come from that. If we don't protect the women now, if we don't protect the women of color, we're not protecting our households, we're not protecting our community, we're not protecting ourselves. So it's kind of like a cycle in itself. We have to start with protecting that individual. Once a woman feels like she doesn't have a community or she doesn't have a place to belong, that can compound the trauma that she probably already has. So we want the woman to feel held. We want her to feel connected. We want her to feel belonged. And we want to just overall create a space that women can just breathe easy. So if she has anything that she's undergoing or what she's experiencing in her own personal life, we want her to let her know that here we honor vulnerability. So if you want to talk about something or download or unpack anything, you can do this with us. You don't have to do life alone. No one has to do life alone, and that's what we like to push. I just wanted to just birth something to help other women feel liberated and other women just feel grounded in what it is to exist in their own sense of authenticity.
Aw.
No one has to do life alone. It's good stuff. So
yeah, really good.
Yeah, for more information about Yo Soy Ella, you can head to their website at yosoyella.org.
Yeah, I just love
Wonderful
that
things
she's
they're doing.
talking about, yeah, creating a community and especially representing as an Afro-Latina, because a lot of times the Black communities say, oh, you're not Black enough, or the Latina community can say, oh, you're not, Latina enough. So where do you belong? So she's just saying, bump all of that. Let's celebrate it, of course, but come together regardless of what community you're in. I think that's important. Really
Absolutely.
good. Well, next, we're going to give you some tips on surviving small talk. I could use some of these, all coming up next in Deep Dish.
Okay, ladies and gents out there watching, listen to this. So we are getting up close and personal with Kanye West. Netflix has picked up a docuseries about Kanye West that's been in the making for 21 years. So two of his buddies have been filming his life since 2000. Could you imagine someone following you around for that long? It'll cover his relationship with his mom, her death, clips of him in Chicago in the 90s, his failed presidential run in 2020. They're covering it all. Netflix also is rumored to have paid $30 million for this project. I just want to know how much of Kim we're going to see, because we all know that Kanye had a lot of say in how much he was in Keeping Up with the Kardashians. So how much say will Kim have with this?
Yeah.
It's never ending, though, with the Kardashians. So great.
That's a really good
I'm
point.
fascinated. Yeah, I'm fascinated. I wasn't even a huge fan, but his life has been so twisty, turny. It's gonna be cool to see.
I'll be watching.
We'll be right back. That is cute. I love that. All right, you know that sound. It's time for Deep Dish. For a lot of us, it's been a long time since we've had to talk small talk to strangers. HuffPost put together an article with tips to survive chatting with a stranger, starting with a positive outlook. So here we go. Assume the person is interesting. Always have a few generic questions in your back pocket. Fall back on what keeps you busy and share something deep about your life. Are you too good at small talk? I'm going to go with Krista Green first because I know Felicia's answer's long. Go, Krista.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it. It really depends on the person, but I usually don't mind it because I could talk to a wall and we'll find something fun to chat about, even if it's just, silly small talk.
I'm with you. Felicia, I'm sure can too.
Krista is so sweet. Yes, I do have the gift of gab. That's why I talk on television for a living. But however, it depends on the day that you catch me, just because sometimes it's too much. You can't always be turned up and turned on. Sometimes you got to just tone it down. So I definitely think that's important. But I would say, I think all the small talk moving forward is going to start with, are you vaccinated? Which one did you get? Mm-hmm. How did it make you feel? Like, I feel like I keep having that conversation over and over and over again.
My husband gets so mad. I talk to everybody, and he's like, stop talking to people. Just because we're in the elevator, you don't have to say hi. I'm like, what? It does it right there.
Sounds familiar.
Just talk to him.
It's our personality.
See you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Sounds so familiar.